Hello everyone that's tuning in, I'm LEMF, and today we are continuing Bendy in the Dark Revival. And we are on chapter 5, as the logo just showed up right now, and it went by really fast, and I barely had time to talk. And technically we're a little bit ahead of this. I just went a bit forward, because we went earlier, because we can save earlier. So now we're going forward and just seeing what's up. We got our pipe. Subway's gonna come to a stop. Oh. And we're with Wilson, because we're helping him with something. And we lost our abilities. Yay, okay. So we got no abilities, we got only our pipe. And it's keeping things under Wilson's control. Seems like, so we are, I don't know what's gonna go on, but we shall see together. And they don't like us for some reason because we break it. Okay, so, or we break the code. I was looking around to see what else is here. Oh, what's that? Diana's Dean's top shoe polish. Old Track 77 is a quiet place these days. Ever since that terrible crash a few years back, people don't like to hang around. Too many strange things keep happening on this platform. Last week, one of the railmen told me they had some reports of some train going through that wasn't on the schedule. There were figures standing in the cars, staring through the windows, but it never stopped to let no one off. Just kept on going straight through. Some say it was the Silver Lane Express, the train that crashed. Kitty Thompson. Huh. So we're doing ghost stories too? I have no idea. Everything just looks interesting, but at the same time it's like... So we're working with the good guy, supposedly. But... why... If you're the good guy, why do you need to make these creatures... or do anything with these? It's choking them out too, man. Can't do anything about that either. So let's go see what's up, Wilson.
The demon's evil continues to spread. This woman has behind the shadow.
Oh, is the Ink Demon talking to us?
What did you say?
Oh.
Nothing. It was nothing.
And even the Ink Demon's warning us about something being up.
Almost there. Just a quick stop. Won't take but a moment.
Trick point. Weapons are not allowed beyond this point. Please place all weapons that contain ink on the holding desk to the right. Wait, there's color. Anything else for her?
The subject will stand in the designated location.
Okay, I'm going, man.
Lethal object detected. The subject will submit all weapons for further screening.
What does it sound like? Alright, fine, we're going. Disarm. What is a gun? Hatchet. Who else is here?
Remain still for examination. The subject is cleared for entry.
I got some security here, Wilson. What up? What's that? Can't interact with it. That feels like a reference to something. I just don't get it. Okay. Why is it color? I'm like, so weird. Well, it's normally color, but not that much color. Welcome.
To the civilized world.
Oh, who's that?
Do you like my signal towers? They nullify the Ink Demon's powers so he cannot pass them. I wish I could say I invented them, but it seems our friends at the Gent Corporation had a demon problem of their own long ago.
Does that mean that everybody could access this ink roll at one point or another? Oh. Egotistical much? Seriously? We're gonna see.
And now, my dear, if We'll talk later, I promise. Besides, you must be very tired.
I don't know, man. I still don't trust you.
Do you good. Betty will show you to your room.
Betty.
She's my housekeeper, among other things.
You never actually killed the ink demon.
Yeah, throw the accusations.
Too powerful to destroy. So we sealed him away.
But you didn't claim it?
Him in a different form.
Coward.
One that was smaller. Harmless.
Bendy.
It was a fitting prison. Although he seems to have found a way to free himself.
Yeah.
But enough
How?
talk. We'll deal with that soon.
Will?
There's some nice fresh blankets all laid out for you. You'll be dreaming in no time.
Wait, Wilson? One
The
moment.
South Wing?
If you needed my
Laboratory?
why didn't you just ask?
Yeah.
Would you have believed me?
Maybe not.
Come along, and no more dawdling. This way now.
North Wing. Anything else here? No, we can't attack it. I was trying to hit it.
Oh, you're here at last. It's so exciting finally having you with us.
You look like, what's a...
To give you some bearings,
A nurse
we're
from one.
currently standing in the south wing. Wilson's laboratory is downstairs.
Uh-huh.
And then there's the north wing.
Oh. Like looking around before she like leaves. Let's see. What? Anything else here? Conservatory. Anything else here? We're not allowed to go through here yet. Library. Get some Beauty and Beast themes here. And you aren't kidding. Laboratory. A chair. Why are they trying to keep it there? Weird. Let's go forward. Come on, Betty.
The ink demon got in there a while ago, and ever since, we've had to keep the north wing locked up tight. I'm afraid it's fallen into ruins by now. All those juicy, lovely books gone to waste.
Oh my, it is Little Beauty and the Beast.
And they'll tear you apart limb from limb if Wilson isn't with you. So, mind your distance and you'll be just fine.
Alright, we're going. Our heels. They're all tapping. Tippity tapping. Are you going here? Okay, let's... Anything over here real quick before we go? Nope, 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 nope. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, let's go. Let's go, Betty.
It's not very often I have guests to look after, especially one I can actually talk to. Almost everyone here either can't speak or they're completely mad.
Oh no. What does that mean? Then what are you? Why are you here and able to talk fine and everything?
Best room in the house.
Oh, nice. Nice digs.
See where I sleep. Ugh. But this room, oh, just perfect. I saw to every detail. Bed is clean. The bathroom is on the left. Sorry about the stains. I did try my best to get them out.
I'm assuming they're old. Is there anything else you guys say? No collectibles in here? Autosave. Anything else here? Ian. Anything else?
Did you have any questions?
Don't think so.
Always night here?
It's always dark, if that's what you mean.
Oh, so it wasn't always night.
Remember?
Are you very old?
No. As far as
Oh.
I understand it, I'm something quite new.
Oh.
Although, I didn't turn out the way I was supposed to. One in a long line of failed experiments.
A what?
But Wilson will keep trying.
And do you trust Wilson?
No.
This is the realm of the ink demon. The shadow hangs over us all.
Oh, so she doesn't.
But Wilson
So-
takes care of me, keeps me safe. He once said I remind him of something he called his mother.
Oh, he's got mommy's issues.
A good thing where you two are from.
In theory.
Not sure. I don't think I ever had one.
Well, no matter. Now, I was told to make sure you get some sleep once you got here. So get nice and comfy and relax. I left something on the table that might just help you nod off. It's my own recipe. Works very fast. Just follow the instructions. Carefully.
Thanks, Betty.
Of course. If you need anything else, I'll come straight away. I'm always up.
Oh, she's so nice. So she's a failed experiment. But what was the experiment that they were, was it something to destroy the ink demon? Was it those to make something? So this is what we're getting.
Gilson. What's a Gilson?
For a sleeping giraffe, pinch of salt, cocoa powder, chamomile, soybeans, Gilson. Mix everything in a glass and then drink with exactly 3 sips of water. That's very exact. Oh, what's this? The Mug and the Maiden. Oh my god, it's long. Okay. I'm gonna read it. Let's see. Well, I'm gonna mess up, so this is gonna be like... Alright, ready? The Mug and the Maiden, Volume 1 by Sir Wilton Moore. Chapter 1, The Dangerous Forest. Once upon a time in a faraway land, there lived a mug of cheese, but it was not ordinary mug of cheese as you would find in any home or kitchen of the age. No, this mug of cheese was a distant descendant of one of the 3 Grand Flagon Kings. The same kings who had charged on horseback to defend their capital city during the unforgettable conquest of the previous century. To which of these flagon kings he hailed from, the mug was unsure, but still there was honor and courage in his heart. His family line heralded by deeds long past that forever changed the course of Stoop history. Did he have a name? Of course, all mugs of cheese have names. This is common knowledge, just as every true rat is really named Stanley. The mug of cheese was named Richter the Cracked. What a name, I can hear you say. Cracked indeed. This mug of cheese bears no damage that I can see. Fall silent, you small-minded bass, for there nails our intriguing story. Let's begin at the beginning. It was a hot winter day in the forest, one of those days where everything is dull brown. The lake was still, the birds had shut up, and the trees were but sticks in the overcast sky. Save for a long pine that skimmed the clouds above like a painter's brush. It was on this day that Mr. Darable Mouse was in a hurry. He had just been named as Vermin of the Year, Vermin of the Year by his society brethren that lived under the old church. And it was customary for the honoree to bring fine port or wine cheese to the ceremony. There were only hours to locate some of this precious cuisine. Fortunately, Mr. Darble Mouse knew exactly where to find it, the dark cellar below the governor's castle. But unfortunately, as he approached the loose plank of wood in the old wall, he failed to realize that the heavy rains that had just come during the night had passed moisture into the plank, making it far heavier than usual. Thus, when he pushed the plank with all his might, it lifted just enough to push his body only halfway through, but his strength just couldn't contend with the weight of the plank and his arms failed. The plank snapped back down, crushing him flat. Man. Oh. After all, the story's not about Mr. Darble Mouse, or had you forgotten the mug of cheese already? I can see how you might connect the two. Mr. Darble Mouse was, after all, looking for cheese, and we were talking about mug of cheese just before. Sadly, I must inform you that there is no relation between Richter the Cracked and the rodent who is now nothing more but smushed guts in the wall. Except that there is, for it was the death of Mr. Darble Mouse that started all the trouble. You see, when things die, they tend to smell, and that's what Mr. Darble Mouse did. But that's not all. His body, pinned between the outside and inside of the wood wall, had made a perfect passage for the hot winter wind. The wind, therefore, carried the stench of his decaying mouse carcass deeper into the governor's home. Like a snaking, twisting wisp of terror, the smell settled into a little tavern near the courtyard of the castle. Here, soldiers would spend many long hours when there was no bloodlust to soothe the battle. Strong ales and red meats filled the menu from back to front at this rustic medieval greasy spoon. Mostly the customers came to look upon the barmaid, Maxine, who was actually named Rita. Rita was by far the best-looking creature in all of the governor's county. There was a beautiful deer woman just over the hill, but no one knew that. That's interesting. By day, Rita scrubbed her tavern so clean you could eat off it, which is fortunate as it was a place you indeed would be eating since it was a tavern. By night, she served her customers with charm and grace, but mostly with drinks. Did I mention that Rita was married? Well, I am mentioning it now. Rita was married. Her husband's name was James. He didn't do much until he died. The smell of Mr. Darble Mouse knocked him flat, and that, my friends, was that. Oh dear, the story has barely begun and we already killed 2 major characters. Needless to say, Rita was deeply distressed by the whole thing, but 20 or so minutes later, she realized she couldn't mourn forever and went to buy some cheese. Yes, don't worry, dear reader. This time of the mention of cheese... yes, don't worry, dear reader. This time, the mention of cheese will probably guide us to meeting our focal hero of the tale. Also, this is a good time to start a new chapter. Oh my god, how many pages is this? I'm just trying to read it because I know sometimes sometimes it's like you kind of want someone to just read it to you. So let's see. Chapter 2, a new chapter. Is there gonna be 5 chapters? Rita entered the cheese shop. Rita entered the cheese shop with her guns blazing. I am speaking metaphorically, of course, by which I mean she entered the cheese shop quite determined to buy some cheese. This was because just the night before, as her husband James was taking note of a weird smell in the room, she had invented a delicious new concoction, a cheddar cider. It was sure to be a hit with her patrons. After all, the governor's county only had 2 exports, cheese and grapes, and she couldn't possibly make a drink from a grape. Grape juice. But back to the cheese shop scene. Rita knocked on the counter loudly with her fist, causing the nearby cat to do absolutely nothing, as cats do. From behind the wall, she heard a stir as someone was crashing through piles of cheese to make their way towards her. Emerging gloriously from the yellow curtains, an old man came to view. He was giant in stature, with a long, long gray beard. Bobbing up and down with his beard were all the manner of cheese crumbs and wedges wrapped tightly within his hairs. But yet he held even more cheeses on the ropes pulled across his chest, with loops of provolone linked like sausages over one shoulder. His eyes were big, and his ears were bigger still. A smile of kindness erupted from his face as he locked eyes with Rita. My, the Kurds are kind to me this hour. Hello and welcome, he bellowed. Rita bowed low and promptly began to cry. The shop owner looked at her perplexed. What did I do wrong? Or what did I say wrong? The barmaid sniffed and snooted and finally answered, Forgive me, for my husband has just died and I'm out of Swiss. I'm going to pause now in the story to ask myself why Mr. Darble Mouse went to the cellar in the governor's house for cheese if there's a cheese shop nearby. I think it's best that we overlook this glaring problem in the plot, don't you? Now back to the story at hand. Rita purchased a large amount of cheese from the shop's owner. She bought cheese wheels and cheese melts and cheese slices. She bought cheese whistles and cheese bread. She bought cheese paper and cheese sandwiches. She bought so much cheese, in fact, that she had lost track of all she had attained and just dumped all the fromage into a large burlap sack for the return journey to the tavern. Man. Goodbye, Rita, the shop owner called as he waved farewell. Goodbye, Daniel, she called back. His name was Murray, by the way. Overburdened by her treasures, Rita made her way home, following the main road to the castle, but as it always happens, the road was now under repair. A man with a skinny mule was plowing up the dirt so that he could put down his new cobblestone. 4 of his associates were standing by, watching him. The job would only take a few years to finish, but Rita was in a hurry, so she followed the detour sign that took her to a different road to her left. Unfortunately, no one could read in the governor's county, so she went right instead. Oh my god, this mishap took her deep into the forest where absolutely nothing of interest had happened. Except something of interest did happen. As she trotted on through the forest, her stacks of cheese weighing her down, muttering complaints all the way. Little did she know the danger lay just ahead. This danger was cunning and dangerous and had just one of those out-of-place eyebrow hairs that drives you nuts when you're talking to someone who has one. The danger we will call Bernard, the big ugly lizard man who wears a blue cloak. Bernard didn't often have visitors in his house. This was because he lived outside. Also, he was rather fond of human flesh, which made him very unpopular. So obviously, you can see the drama unfolding here. The beautiful but tired Rita puffing and puffing up the winding path as she approaches a certain doom. Bernard watching from a nearby tree, licking his lips. Oh, tension is tense, is it not? At this point, we must pause again to ponder all the possibilities that we can see happen in our story. 2 characters have died already. Surely a third wouldn't hurt anything. Are you perhaps just reading the story because you want to see who will get the axe first or next? You're a little warped, don't you know that? Well then, let's see what happens next. Bernard stepped from behind his hiding place, his eyebrow hair gleaming in the bottle fading sun. Dear ma'am, why must you pass so fast? He called with his eyes glimmering. I must get home, Bernard, because for one, it's getting late and I have customers to serve, and second, because you eat people. Oh wait, so she knows? Poppycock balderdash quoth swallow. I won't hear these lies against my character, he detested, for I, Bernard, the big ugly lizard man who wears the blue cloak, have completely reformed myself. Rita squinted suspiciously at him. You have? Bernard put a hand to his heart. I have. I no longer prowl or pounce. I won't attack or bounce. I will not kill or maim or tear. I won't even crush you or even bite you anywhere. I promise I won't devour anymore. My gosh, you become a bore. If you aren't going to be a danger to the story, I've come all this way with 100 pounds of cheese for nothing, Rita grumbled. She boosted her sack up her shoulders and turned with an angry grunt, but Bernard waited after her in a panic. Wait, it's all a ruse. I intended to eat you, dear woman. I swear, he cried. It's all a trick, you see. A new angle. It worked on some guy yesterday. Oh, please stay. Rita sighed, her strength just about to get gone from a long adventure she had taken since she left home that morning. She turned back to face Bernard. All right, she said, but your part in the story better lead to an unexpected turn of events. Oh, it will, Bernard clapped and waggled his clawed finger to motion her to the draw nearer. Just wait until the next chapter. Oh my god. Chapter 3, the next chapter. The next chapter. I'll have looked quite dire for Rita. Bernard had her within his gas. Oh my, so many words. All looked quite dire for Rita. Bernard had her within his grasp. Surely it would just be mere moments before his jaws collapsed upon her head. Oh, what a horrible end for Rita. Needless to say, I am worried for her. But as luck would have it, miles and miles away, 20 years earlier, something amazing happened. 2 mugs of cheese, a Gouda, and a mozzarella welcomed their first son into the world. I don't think I need to tell you the name. It was Dave. No one liked Dave. After that, their second son came forth. Richter took the crack, just calling Richter at the time. Richter spent his early life stealing cowbells and putting them on skunks. That's why people always knew when danger was nearby. Needless to say, Richter was one smart mug of a cheese. But all could not remain perfect forever, and suddenly the great skunk famine began. Richter found his world in array, and he sought a new purpose. Fortunately, there was an opening in the governor's county for an adventurer at the time, and since he was the descendant of the 3 grand flagging kings, he was boosted to the head of the line, because as we all are aware, even in old times, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Thus the adventure of Richter begins. He braved deep dungeons, he slayed great beasts, he climbed the highest peak mountain peak. Blah, blah, blah. Wait, 3, 2, 1. He braved deep dungeons, he slayed the great beasts, he climbed the highest mountain peaks, he sailed around the world, despite the fact that he didn't own a boat. Richter was truly a stuff of legend. But did I mention the curse? Yes, dear readers, this is a curse. A fiendish and terrible curse. One morning while Richter was in the governor's county, he came upon a witch named Witch. This witch had just pulled a pound cake from her oven where she then proceeded to start ingesting it right there and then on the front walk of her home. At once, Richter knew the creature was pure evil, eating cake this early in the morning, and without ice cream, this was truly a fiend that needs to be vanquished. Man. Richter jumped her fence. Richter jumped her fence and pulled his sword. Would you like some pound cake? The witch offered. It looked quite delicious. Richter would not let himself be seduced into her early morning cake, so he approached closer with his weapon at her throat. The witch began to sweat with a mouth full of crumbs. I also make a mean scone if you want to wait. But now, no gentleman or gentle mug could refuse a good scone, so Richter withdrew his sword and patiently waited for the witch to create these new buttery pastries. But what he didn't know was that the witch accidentally had bumped her table and added within the mixture a vile cursed liquid. See, I told you there was a curse. You were unfair warned. The moment Richter ate some of the scones, he fell into a deep sleep. The witch, baffled, finished her cake and proceeded to get a civil service job in a nearby town. As the years rolled by, all that remained of the witch's house was carried off by elves, and her garden became overgrown. This left only Richter asleep in the forest with no end to his dreaming in sight. But the story thankfully does not end here. For as luck would have it, a giant man covered in cheese with big eye and big ears wandered past the sleeping mug. In case you've forgotten, this was the cheese owner Murray, sometimes called Bill, unable to resist cheese of any kind, even a mug on the shelf. So Murray took Richter to his shop and set him on a shelf. Here, Richter sat for many years until his very fateful day. You see, in Rita's haste to gather up all the cheese she had purchased, she had swept a few things that she did not belong to her in soccer. She had swept a few things that did not belong to her into the sack as well. These items included the cat on the counter, a personalized pen, Murray's cash box. I think she'll be hearing about that one eventually. And last but not least, Richter himself still deeply asleep. So now that our two stories have come together, let's discover what happened next to Rita and Richter. And let's happen next to Rita and Richter in the climax chapter. Chapter 4, the climax chapter. It was the same hot winter day in the forest, and Mr. Darwell Mouse was finally starting to get concerned. Just down the road, Rita was being drawn to an almost certainly bloody and horrific end to her life, but not even just moments from taking her within the lizard jaws, and mere hours for trimming his eyebrows. But Rita stood her ground. She was no damsel in distress. Mrs. Darwell Mouse. Oh, she's still alive. Okay. Rita stood her ground. She was no understandable in distress, but simply a person who was pretty darn tired at this point. She pulled the burlap sack of cheese from her body and swung it hard with every last bit of strength she had left in her. An ear-shattering crack broke through the silent trees as the bag made contact with Bernard's stacked face. His teeth flew in all directions, falling like pebbles to the ground. His eyeballs dislodged and rolled into a nearby stream. His jawbone turned completely around and planted himself on the back of his head. Bernard ran screaming into the woods, never to be seen again this week. His cries faded and the forest once again fell soft and quiet. A cow walked by. Rita, still standing with her sack outstretched in her arms, stood wide-eyed at what just happened. Surely no cheese in her bag was hard enough for this kind of impact. As she placed her burlap sack upon the dirt and peeled it open, she was amazed to find Richter. The mug of cheese inside looking quite dazed. He had awakened and the curse was finally lifted. Somewhere behind the desk, the witch looked up and nodded with a smile. But oh dear reader, look what was now upon his mugged body. A giant and elegant crack, the very mark of the very mark of a warrior. His hero's journey was finally complete. Richter the Cracked had emerged. Yes, it is true that Richter didn't really do anything important in the attack on Bernard. Just by Richter being where he was perfect time, he had saved Rita. The fates were with them. Richter and Rita talked and laughed and ate cheese until the sun went down. Finally, they packed up their picnic and headed back to the tavern, where they were met with cheers of excitement. This is mostly because the guys had found out that Rita was now single. As the night wore on, in the early morning hours, the tavern remained alive in the castle courtyard with singing and dancing, cheater cider. Oh, what a celebration. But like all parties of such proportion, eventually everyone sobers up and you have to go home. Before long, it was dawn. The sun began to rise steadily in the west, marking a fresh adventure on the horizon. A wind of new direction began to blow with a more steady pace. It skittered across the ground and found its way between the floorboards of the governor's castle. Here, against all odds, it found the barely remaining body of Mr. Darwell Mouse. The wind carried the stench for beyond the borders of the castle, over the mountains and deep within a dark cave where evil slept. What the heck is that smell? Said Evil, awakening with hellfire burning behind his eyes. Eventually, news of the great evil spread from town to town until it reached the ears of Richter the Cracked. He polished his sword and gathered some crumbs of bread to store in his mug. Wearing his best expression of courage, Richter once again set off to conquer the day. His story was not over yet. But for now, dear reader, we return to our lives. So let us end this tale with one closing thought, shall we? Be we cracked or small or even dead, there's always a purpose to where we all led. Be brave and strong, unless we forget, fate isn't quite done with any of us just yet. Oh my god. That was long. Sir Wilson Moore. Is there a reason for that? Please don't tell me I read that whole thing for like no reason. Like, I thought there was gonna be some lore reason. Oh my god. It's like Doki Doki Literature Club all over again. Okay, interesting. Alright, ready? 3, 2, 1, let's head out. Is everything else open now? No, that's still locked. Let's see, anywhere else open? Oh, wait, that's new. You weren't here before. Let's see this. A gift to mankind, Wilson. Oh my god, literally egotistical much?
The machine speaks to me, revealing its many possibilities. What I can accomplish using its power is beyond any measure. Life and death can become a thing of the past. Poverty and hunger, a distant memory. I can remake the world anew. But does the world deserve such a gift?
Oh, huh.
For now, I have bigger matters at hand. A man in a black coat came asking at the front desk about the machine. Said he was from the Gent Corporation.
Oh, they're coming back for it.
Fortunately, the receptionist knew nothing, and he left quietly. Later, I found his name on the sign-in form. Mr. Alan Gray.
Oh. What is this? That's creepy. So, stuff's going on, definitely. Oh, this one opens. Ooh. Any particular interest for us here? Oh. One book stands out among the others. I wonder if that reveals something later on. I haven't found all of them. I know there's some I can press. Oh, cool. Okay. Is that chapter 7? if I'm seeing correctly. I think it's I don't know how to read Roman numerals that well. Very sciencey right now. This says by Alan Gray, if I saw correctly too. Chapter 7, Spatial Displacement of Unknown Elements. Let us imagine a long wire stretching between 2 points in known time. We will call this length of time the euphonic base. From here, we can dispel all needs of societal normalcy and all typically understood junctions of the world we know as the present. Once the euphonic base is achieved, it creates a shared understanding that there must be space around the wire. That is not the wire itself. This space, a Cromley vacuum, could be itself a host of many wires, running in as many directions as we can receive. Using a vessel flow, a flux break, we can escape from a wire to another wire. This allows us not to just reveal these alternate timescapes, but command them with larger understanding of their existence. Further still in theory, we can bring elements of one world into another, displacing matter into a new state regardless of the current host wire's rules. The reality and function of the elements become a euphonic base, a new euphonic base.
Nothing here.
Nah, I don't know. It seems pretty important. I don't know what though. Like, it seems like more for something later. Anything up here? Oh. 1 fish, 2 fish, 3 fish. A lot of these books are Fisherman Jib's Fish Guide. Freshwater critters, section 4. The yellow perch. If you find yourself looking for a hard-fighting fish that won't rip your hands, you should look no further than the common yellow perch. This freshwater fish is usually quite quick to bite anything that can get their jaws on. The best way to catch yourself one is to work your bait, worms, minions, or larvae towards the bottom of the water, and guide your line back up. You don't need much seasoning when it comes time to cook it either. The flavor of the yellow perch is built right in. Good eatings. The Gilson fish. This is one strange little fish that's pretty hard to come by. The Gilson is not known to be very easy to catch and will ignore most bait. To make matters worse, the Gilson can move very fast, making it a rare sight. In the end, I was able to snatch me up this one little guy with a very clever solution. Apparently, the Gilson is sensitive to sound vibrations and will go into shock upon hearing some sweet music. So crank up the tunes and this fish will soon be easy to grab. Crush the Gilson to powder and stir into water for a powerful, soothing drink. That's probably what we're looking.
So I'm looking for
A fish. Chapter 9, Simple Snacks. If you're in a hurry like I am, Chapter 9, Simple Snacks. If you're in a hurry like I always am, you don't have time to put together a complex or large meals. Unfortunately, we have some scrumptious and simple recipes that satisfy and take no time at all to prepare. People will ask you how you made these so fast, and you can just sit back and smile. Saucy Cheese Buddies recipes. Take a loaf of leftover Italian bread and slice it into 4-inch strips. Lightly butter your bread strips on one side only, and lay them facing down on a baking sheet. Toast in your oven for 2 to 6 minutes at 400 degrees or just until they begin to brown. Sprinkle a thick layer of mozzarella cheese over the strips and leave them in the oven for just a minute or 2 to melt the cheese. Remove and serve with your favorite marinara sauce or spice things up with little ranch for dressing quick, easy, and super tasty. Oh my god, that's literally just mozzarella sticks.
There's gotta be one here somewhere.
Is that what we were saying we want to try? That's it. So we're looking for a fish. Sounds off. Is it just me? Like, this whole thing just sounds off. Conservatory. It's dogs! Did Wilson put this up? That's funny. It's actually isn't an actual kind of like I've seen that painting kind of similar before. I don't know if it's from this though. Oh, is that a fishy I see before me? Anything else right here before I go grabbing the fish? Oh. Hello.
That's a fish.
That is a fish.
He's too fast.
That's a little messed up though. They tell us this recipe and they're not gonna give us any of the hints to it or like actually give it to us. Like we actually gotta catch the fish ourselves.
Maybe if it was closer.
We can move it. We got you now, fish.
That did it. Looks like the fish is asleep.
I don't know if it's asleep.
Gotcha. You can't get away from me, little
It's kind of cute, but at the same time, oh.
Hello.
sin again, didn't I?
Again?
And there's some already ground up in the kitchen too. I'll bring it up to your room straight away, shall I? Oh, and maybe you could put Harold back in his tank.
Sorry,
I just
Harold.
hate the dry air.
Very sorry, Harold, about that. Didn't mean to do that. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, little dude. I didn't think that was right either. I'm like, let's see. Do 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 da 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 da. Is there any other famous paintings? Bowl of fruit. It'd be funny you could just see something in there. And Betty was so done with us. She's like, seriously, dude? Seriously? I'm like, okay, Betty. I get it. I get it, Betty. Is there anything else we need to do? I think that was it. So, I guess we go forward. It's us in the mirror again. Who's that woman in the mirror?
Now, just 3 sips of water.
I want to do it, Audrey. Alright, 1.
1,
Oh, it's gross. Did we already take it, this stuff, then? Oh no, Audrey.
2.
I mean, this is an unfamiliar area. You're seriously gonna drink this? Like, what happens if you knock out right away? 3. What are you? Overall choking? Oh my god. That's kind of traumatizing. Alright, let's see if it works now. There it is. It didn't cut.
At last. I was almost afraid you'd miss my party.
Ugh.
What's going on?
Oh, it seems you're just a little overwhelmed.
Where are we at?
It's all right, honey. I understand.
Ugh, I don't like how you said that.
One gets to bask in the glory of an angel.
Angel?
Oh no.
Angel, to be exact. That's who I am. Sent from above. Impending perfection.
Ooh.
What do you want?
Right to the chase. I like that.
No.
The truth is, honey, you're one of a kind.
What does that mean? Oh, we are. Thank you.
Bluntly,
Ugh. What happened to you?
is your face removed, your skin peeled away like paper, and your insides torn out and tossed onto my table. Custom parts.
Oh my gosh, she's like been melted.
Harvest. And with your generous sacrifice, I'll be beautiful.
Will you?
But for now, let's have fun. Plenty of time for a bloodbath later.
Oh.
Ooh, how about a game? Let's all play a game of riddles. Riddles? What a wonderful idea!
It's like, oh my god, it's like a split personality, man.
All right, honey. Here's the deal. Behind you is the door to freedom.
Oh.
But it will only be opened if you solve my little puzzle and return to your special chair. Then I'll throw this heavenly switch here. If you get the puzzle right,
Ooh.
you walk away.
Oh, we don't?
Get it wrong, you fry.
Ugh.
Let's begin.
This is the door to freedom. Okay, interact with it, hide. Any area that we could use? Nope. You know, I've been looking for stuff, but I don't see anything. Because I still have no idea how to use that. So what exactly are we doing? Some game, I'm assuming. That's what she said. Is it related to these guys?
The bird won't have anything to do with the rabbit, but I hear he likes to court danger by sitting next to the fox.
It's a riddle. Alright, so we got a bird and a fox that like to sit. Wait, let me repeat that.
Bird won't have
So we got a bird, a fox, and a rabbit.
The fox thinks the rabbit smells of elderberry. I couldn't see them sitting together.
The rabbit can't sit by fox at all.
The rabbit never sits with the bird, but he loves the playful company of the bear.
I'm already confused. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm like writing it down.
The pompous fox? Well, he wouldn't be caught dead sitting on the left. Far too pedestrian.
So fox has got to be on the right somewhere. So is it?
The fox has always hated the bear. They never sit next to each other.
My friend the bear always sits next to the bird. After all, they went to school together.
And the bear. Okay, so if I'm hearing this correctly from out of everybody, it seems like it's rabbit, bear, bird, fox. Rabbit, bear, bird, fox. Is what I'm assuming. Oh, she was watching this. Yeah, so let's see. The rabbit was on this side. The pig. Rabbit, bear, bird, fox, right? Rabbit. Bear. Bird. Fox? Rabbit, bear, bird, fox, right? Alright, let's see. Let's see if this is right. Or else we're gonna fry. Or else we're gonna get fried if this is wrong. Come on, English training. You gotta like help me out now. I go to college for education if I can't solve a riddle.
Hold on tight, honey.
Oh, let's see. Oh no.
Here it comes.
We're gonna be fried.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, we got it right. Oh wait. That wasn't too hard. It's kind of confusing. Oh. They're all dead. You know, they give us the riddle. Can we stand it? Is it safe to stand? Where'd you go, Alice? I don't know what's going on. We don't got our weapon though. Where's she at? Is she up there? Oh. We have our weapon. Ah. Ah. How do we survive that? Alright. Do we got any upgrades? Can we get any upgrades right now? Oh, jet coil stun mod. Double charged pipe will stun keepers on pawn impact. Oh, we have everything enough for it, so let's see. Let's just do it. Cool. Oh, wait, you can do it against the keepers too. Use stun pipe to engage clutches the creeper. Okay. Oh. I'm fully charged right now. Oh, it's cool though. Okay. Alright, let's see. Where are we supposed to go? Do we got our abilities back to right now? What do we power down exactly? I'm like, something's missing. I don't know what. No music. I guess let's go forward. Oh no. Ah! Ah! She's shooting at us!
Angel, no one! Hold still, honey. This is gonna hurt.
Oh my god.
I can do this all day.
Alright, ready? 3. My god!
Where do you think you're going?
I was not expecting her to pull out a gun. Was the angel is- oh no, he can't save. Okay.
Sharp!
Man. Ah.
Hate stealing my spotlight.
Freaked me out.
Stop hiding! Start dying!
Man, okay, Alice, you know.
Come out wherever you are! Where did
I think maybe this?
There you are! Come out wherever you are!
What is this open?
Where do you think you're going?
What's this? Oh, the ink canister.
Where did you go?
The dark puddles are calling. Oh, let's do stamina or ability. 3, 2, 1. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch time. It's all eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Ability.
Are you hiding from me? That's precious.
Oh, let's see. Any down there? Okay. Phew.
Where did you
Man, I wasn't expecting this kind of mission on here. Let's see, what is this gonna initiate?
just want me beautiful? Help me be beautiful!
Lock 2 activated?
Help me be beautiful!
I got stuck right there because of the boxes.
Go!
That's messed up. How did I get stuck for there?
Are you hiding from me? That's precious.
Oh, I think I have an idea what we're supposed to.
I know you're out there. Gotcha. Come out
Man.
wherever you are.
Yeah.
Give me your inside.
I jabbed.
Stop hiding. Start dying.
Man. What do we open up?
I don't want to go.
3, 2, 1.
There you are. Where did you go?
Alright. What do we do now?
Are you hiding from me? That's precious.
Oh, right there by her. Oh my god, it's so nerve-wracking.
Wherever you are.
Alright, let's see. Why is this so nerve-wracking?
You ain't stealing my spotlight, honey. Where do you think you're going?
Alright, ready? 3, 2. Alright. Oh no, we got caught. No. Oh no, we're gonna die. Oh, we fell too. That's fine. We had enough like save damage. Oh no.
Final curtain, baby.
Oh no, we're gonna die.
Blow them away.
Wait a minute. We're alive. And it's other Alice. The good Alice. Yeah, we got saved. Oh.
It's our face.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Oh. It's sad. Oh. Oh. Well, she's gonna be revived anyway, but.
Why does this feel so familiar?
Oh.
Are you all right, Audrey?
Alice, I cannot begin to tell you how good it is to see you.
Yeah.
And this must be your wolf.
It's Boris.
Tom.
Or Boris.
He's
Tom.
my protector.
It's Tom.
My friend.
You both got here just in time. Now I understand why you don't like being called Alice.
She includes many of the same forms.
Oh.
At least on the outside. On the inside, we're all pretty different.
Well, from now on, I'm gonna call you something other than Alice. It just doesn't suit you.
Oh? What do you have in mind?
How about Allison?
Oh.
It's not bad. Okay.
Is that our mom figure? We have mommy issues too.
Only if you can tell me what in heaven's name you're doing in Wilson's retreat.
Wilson, I almost forgot. I have to get ready right away.
Are you crazy? Wilson's our enemy.
Do you even know him? Have you ever talked to him?
I've seen what he's done.
I've talked to him and I feel like he's still an enemy.
For me.
Look, it sounds like he has a plan to kill the ink demon. For good. And I think he can help us all.
I don't know, man. He doesn't have that demeanor.
Well, if it's true, you'll both need as much help as you can get.
Oh.
The ink demon won't go down without a fight. Tom and I will gather some of our friends. Anyone who's left.
It's a reunion.
Audrey.
You too, Allison.
Aw.
Mind if I take this?
She took the guy. Can I? You can pet it, Tom. I don't know. That's kind of messed up because he's technically human, but he's also a dog, like Goofy, and but Boris the wolf. Anything else before? I guess we're ending it right here. Can I save now? Yeah, I can't save. Okay, cool. Alright, so I guess we're ending it here, guys. Wait, what did we do? We did so much. We entered Wilson's retreat, or his house, basically, in this ink world. We met Betty, his like mom figure, house servant kind of thing. We read a whole storybook about the mug and the cheese and something else, and Rita and Richter. We caught a fish, then let go of the fish because we realized that we had a powder fish somewhere. We glitched out the game again, where it didn't load into the next screen. We figured out a puzzle using my English skills, and then now we defeated the other Alice Angel. Also, I think she may be kind of... No, I don't think so now. At first I thought she might have been Betty, because I'm like, that seemed kind of too suspicious, but I guess not. And so we have that, what else we do? We defeated the older Alice Angel, I guess, or the evil one. Then we met Allison again, and then we met Boris, and now we are about to wrap up this episode and see... I think next episode might be the end. So I don't know what else is left. I'm like, I don't think so. We're on chapter... We are on chapter 5 right now. It's only 5 chapters per game normally, especially with this company or this studio. So I guess this is it for now. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.